Welcome to my channel, guys. Today we're speaking on the Afrikaans language. The Afrikaans language, which is mainly one of the official language in South Africa, just like we have our English here in Nigeria, we have the Afrikaans. So Afrikaans is actually one of the major languages in. It's one of the major languages in South Africa. With South Africa actually having 11 languages that are Zulu, Asa, Swati, Ndebele, the Sotho, and the likes. South Africa actually have 11 official languages. Just like we have English here in Nigeria, we have Afrikaans, which is mostly one of their major languages, major language in South Africa. Actually, Afrikaans is a language, just like we have our pidgin here in Nigeria. It's a language of Dutch origin, which means most part, let's say 90 to 95% of the words in Afrikaans actually comes from this Dutch language, with Afrikaans having some influence, and with some other languages having an influence on African, just like the Croatian language, English, French, and German language. But when referring to the Afrikaans language, Afrikaans actually is a Western Germanic language, which is, well, let's say, which evolved as a result of the migration of the Dutch people during the year 1652. As a result of the migration of people of this Dutch company, and these people actually migrated to South Africa due to the fact that they do stop at South Africa, that's the Cape region, in order for them to look for supplies due to their long journey the eastern to eastern Indian, that's to the eastern part of Asia, that's which is presently Indonesia. Let's say when they are actually moving from this either from West Africa, then going through South Africa, then going to Indians. So they do stop at South Africa, currently Cape Town, in order for them to restock their products, in order to restock their products. So when they got to Cape Town back then in South Africa, the Cape part of South Africa where and they do stop at Cape Town in South Africa, which the Quaisi and the Cray people to actually live back then before they actually migrated inwards. That's to present day Namibia, Botswana, and to other part of South Africa. That's to the other part of South Africa. We call the SADC. So when the Dutch actually migrated to South Africa, the reason why the Dutch, or let's say the Dutch or European people currently are in South Africa is actually due to the fact that the drove, or let's say they drove the Croatians out of the Cape part of South Africa due to the fact that the Cape or the Croatian, I mean the Khoi people, are willingly to meet their demands when it comes to supplies, their freshwater supplies, and their food supplies. So they drove them out of Cape Town inward. So after driving them out, these Dutch travelers actually settled in Cape Town with their slaves, which is mostly for West Africa and East Africa, and their slaves also from the West Indians, that's modern day Indonesia. So from there, they began to farm. They left their people there in Cape Town. So whenever they are traveling, either from western part of Africa to modern day Indochina. So they won't have any more problem, or let's say they won't have any problem stopping by at Cape Town in order for them to get their supplement or their needs. So Those people who actually settled there in Cape Town are called the Boers. So those people actually do the farming and all sorts. But as time began to goes on, the other part of Europe actually, let's say the Europeans actually also, especially the British people, that's people from England, migrated to Eastern Cape also. So and there was this kind of fight, or let's say clash, the frequent clashes between the Dutch part of Cape Town and the Dutch part of Cape Town and the English speaking part of Cape Town about when it comes to land issues, which actually resulted in the Boer War. So the Cape travelers actually placed a ban to prevent the more migration of people from other parts of, let's say, Europe to Africa, which they came into with an agreement. They came with an agreement with the English speaking part of Cape Town. So as time evolved, these Dutch people actually, since there have been an agreement about people migrating back, let's say people migrating to that particular part of Cape Town. So in order to fulfill that agreement, these Dutch settlers started interbreeding with their slaves. And as they begin to migrate inward of South Africa, which mostly you find most African speaking people in either Northern Cape, or meet them in Western Cape. So they began to interbreed with their slaves. And at that time, 75% of their slaves actually were interbreeding with their masters, let's say with the Dutch settlers. That's why you meet 75% of African of colors. When we are talking about colors are actually, we are not just referring to just people that are black. Colors actually referring to people of multiracial ethnicity. That's they have more different racial backgrounds. That's why when you get to South Africa, you'll be like, I'm colored. I have friends that are also colored in South Africa. They'll be like, I'm colored, which means they have people from different racial backgrounds. Yeah, that means people of Dutch origin, of Indian origin, of African origin, who actually were interbreeding with the Dutch people, the Dutch members. So as we were moved, migrating inward, they started encountering Africans on the way. And there's something about these Croatian people, they don't like interacting with people outside their community. So the more the Dutch people were migrating inward, the more the Croatian were just going more inward, more to the modern day Manibia region. So when it comes to Croatian, just like we have Yoruba, for example, now we have Ijebu, we have Ibadan, we have Oyo. These Cape languages also, or let's say this Cape language also, we have the Western Cape language itself, we have the Orange River Cape language itself. So that's why when you get to South Africa now, you see let them give you the ratio at which each race or each colored people, or let's say each ethnicity actually speak Afrikaans. In South Africa, for example, you have 1.5% of blacks actually speak Afrikaans. That's about 600,000 of blacks in South Africa actually speaks Afrikaans. When it comes to the colored people of colored origin, we have 75% of people of colored origin speaking Croatian language, or Afrikaans language. I mean, why 60% of what are they calling it? Of this Afrikaans language is being spoken by whites. Like when it comes to white population, 60% of the white population actually speak this Croatian language. And Croatia present number of people speaking Croatian language are actually 7.1 million speakers. And in South Africa, we have 6.5 million speakers of Africans in South Africa. In Namibia, we have 220,000 speakers of Africans. And in Namibia, give let's say 10% of the population of Namibia. The population of Namibia now is currently 22 million. So let's say you see 22 million or 2.2 million, I mean. So 10% of the population of Namibia, that's 220,000 people of Namibia actually speak um this Croatian language. And in Namibia, let's say 60 to 80% of those people who speak of white population actually speak or speak this Afrikaans language. And another country where you can actually find Afrikaans, let's say African speaker, that's Botswana. So you can find African speakers in Botswana itself. So this Afrikaans language actually became an official language in South Africa. But during the before 1925, this Afrikaans language was being seen like just like we have the pidgin language in Nigeria. So due to some movement of people protesting here and there that they want Afrikaans to be a language in South Africa, so it was being signed into law. That's in the year 1925, if I'm being right, to become an to become an Afrikaans language. Let's say a Dutch language, which actually based in South Africa. Another name for Afrikaans, you can call it Dutch, African Dutch. You can call it kitchen language. It's also called the kitchen language. It's also called African Dutch. Sometimes, or you can also call it Dutch pidgin. Back then, it's being referred to as Dutch pidgin due to the fact that the people from Dutch don't want Africans to be seen as Dutch. Let's say just like now, so now they only see it as just like an ethnicity, like a group of people, an ethnic group of people who actually speak Afrikaans. So mostly now in South Africa, people either see speak Afrikaans either as their first or second language. And out of the 11 official language of South Africa, it is being ranked the third most spoken language in South Africa. Just like I said earlier, 7.1 million speakers. And when it comes to geographical um, language, like when we are looking at the most geographical spoken language, let's go like the language that have the widest geographical spoken language. Let's say the widest geographical spoken language in South Africa. African comes first. So that's what we have to say about Africans today. So our next um, life, or let's say the next topic on this YouTube channel will actually be on the colored people. That's why South Africans, why people in South Africa are being called colored, this and that, and why people do and various questions be asked by a lot of people being and and various questions be asked by a lot of people in Africa. Why are these South Africans being called colored? Why are their whites also being called colored? So that will be the next topic on this channel. Thank you very much guys for listening. Have a wonderful day, guys.